Have you ever felt that the more you speak, the emptier you become? In the modern world, we live in a space filled with noise, where everyone wants to be heard and listened to. However, the reality is that the more voices there are, the fewer people actually listen to each other. We often get caught up in the cycle of explaining, justifying, or even trying to become the version others expect us to be. This makes us feel tired, not because of work or external activities, but because we have expended too much energy on things that don't really matter. Silence, an action sometimes misunderstood as weakness or even rejection, actually holds an invisible power, a power that doesn't require external recognition or approval. In Stoic philosophy, silence is not emptiness, but the highest form of self-control. When those around you are rushing to react, you choose to stop and fully understand the situation. While others engage in endless arguments, you learn to listen, reflect, and let the truth reveal itself. Ask yourself this question: what would happen if I stopped explaining and started observing? The answer may be simple, but profound. When you choose silence and view everything from a different perspective, you not only understand others, but also understand yourself. It is in this stillness that you begin to realize what truly matters, and from there, your life will have a clearer direction. Silence is not avoidance or giving up, but a form of growth, a process of inner maturity. When you start focusing on yourself and stop reacting to insignificant things, you will notice that the purpose of your life becomes clearer than ever. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that frees you from running after others' expectations. So, are you ready to explore the power of silence and focus on yourself? We will continue to explore this deeper in the next sections. We live in a world where everyone is in a hurry, rushing, and always yearning to be heard and understood. But in reality, in those moments when you feel empty and lost, perhaps that's the sign of something you need to do. Focus on yourself. When you start taking the time to reflect on yourself, to listen to the deep voices from within your soul, you'll realize that life is not just about chasing after what others want, but about finding the path that you truly want to walk. This is not easy, and at times you may feel lost or lonely. However, this loneliness is not emptiness. It is your evolution. This is the moment you truly face yourself, recognizing what you need to change and what you need to let go of. Because not everyone realizes that if we are not strong and whole ourselves, we won't be able to help anyone else. The world has taught us about connection and loving one another, but few truly teach us how to love ourselves and be aware of our own limits. This is not selfishness. It is a necessary action to maintain inner balance. The Stoic philosophy, which we can learn from people like Epictetus, always emphasizes that we can only control our own thoughts and actions. From this, you'll begin to understand that self-care is the first step to truly helping others effectively. When you start to take the time to observe, reflect, and face your emotions, you'll realize that the decisions you make will no longer be influenced by others' opinions and expectations. Instead, you'll act according to your own values, in a direction that you have chosen for yourself. This won't be easy, as the fear of judgment and the anxiety of isolation are always present in us. But remember, living according to your own path will bring you inner peace that nothing else can replace. On this journey, you don't have to do anything grand or rush. The important thing is to start with small steps, with habits that you can maintain daily. It could be spending a few minutes each morning to reflect on your goals, or simply taking a quiet moment to listen to yourself. By starting with these small habits, you'll gradually begin to feel the change, the clarity in your mind, and the confidence in every decision you make. The truth is, when you stop and look within, you'll see that life doesn't always have to be complicated and noisy. Sometimes, silence is what helps you find the right direction, making you realize that you don't need to race against anyone. Just walk your own path and trust every small decision you make. Have you ever felt that you've spoken too much, but no one is really listening? No matter how many times you explain, what you say is still misunderstood or even misinterpreted. In today's world, where everyone wants to speak up and be heard, it's easy to fall into the trap of speaking too much but not getting anywhere. Why is that? Because the more you speak, the easier it is to lose focus. Words can be a powerful tool to connect and convey ideas, but if not used properly, they can become a barrier instead of a bridge. The skill of knowing when to speak is the key to amplifying the power of your words, and sometimes it is silence that can have the deepest impact. Imagine you are in a meeting or an intense conversation where everyone is debating, offering opinions, and everyone's words seem important. If you remain silent throughout the conversation, you won't get caught up in the whirlwind of meaningless arguments. You'll have the opportunity to listen carefully, to understand more deeply, and when you speak, your words will become sharp, weighty, and will be listened to by everyone. The ancients said, "Silence is golden," and this is absolutely true in situations where you need to make decisions and demonstrate profound understanding. Silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. Rather, it means you are choosing the right moment to show clarity and certainty. The way you choose a moment of silence to think before speaking will amplify the value of your words many times over. Science also shows that when we take time to be silent and reflect, our brain works differently. The part of the brain responsible for decision-making becomes more activated, helping us make more accurate and mature decisions. If you always react immediately to every situation, the emotional part of your brain will take over, leading to hasty, thoughtless reactions. On the other hand, when you know how to stop and think thoroughly, each of your words will carry more weight and will be less likely to be misunderstood. Others will realize that you are not easily provoked, but someone who has the ability to control themselves and make decisions based on reason, not emotion. This doesn't mean you should always remain silent. It simply means knowing when to speak and when to be silent, to ensure that every word you say has meaning and impact on the listener. When you carefully choose the moments to speak, your words will command attention and respect. As the Stoics taught, silence holds immense power. You don't always have to speak to prove yourself. Sometimes silence is a measure of understanding and patience. Remember that each time you choose not to speak, you not only conserve energy, but also create space for wisdom and clarity to grow. So, learn to speak less, but more effectively, and you'll find that your life will not only become lighter, but will also lead to greater outcomes. You've probably heard the saying, "To succeed, you must do something big, make a breakthrough." But the reality might surprise you. The greatest success in life often comes from small things, done consistently every day. By building simple habits and sticking to them, you not only change your life, but also create a solid foundation for long-term success. And the key to this is discipline, a virtue that doesn't make noise, but has incredibly powerful strength. Think about someone who is able to maintain discipline in their life. Every day, they wake up on time, complete their tasks concisely but effectively, and aren't distracted by external factors. They understand that success doesn't come from doing everything perfectly, but from consistently doing the important things right, even on the toughest days. But discipline isn't something everyone is born with. It's a habit that can be developed and cultivated over time. As Epictetus taught, when you control yourself, you control everything around you. When you choose to act with discipline, you not only control your own behaviors and emotions, but also create a steady flow in your life, helping you overcome challenges without being swayed. This doesn't mean you need to take huge actions every day. On the contrary, small but consistent habits, like reading a page of a book each day, writing a line in a journal, or spending a few minutes meditating will make a big difference over time. It's these seemingly simple actions, when repeated, that will gradually create results beyond expectations. Because the human brain works in a very interesting way. When you repeat an action enough times, the neural connections related to that action will gradually become stronger and more resilient. Over time, you won't need to exert as much effort or patience to carry them out, because they've become part of your system. That's when you experience the automation of success. When habits become a part of you, you'll achieve things you never thought were possible. However, patience is an essential factor in this process. You won't see results immediately. And that's why many people give up halfway. They don't realize that even though each step seems small, it's the perseverance in the journey that is key to achieving great things. As Marcus Aurelius emphasized, every day is a new opportunity to start again. And if you persist with your habits, you will gradually see a significant change, not only in your life, but within yourself. Focus on the small steps, stay consistent each day, and you'll notice a miracle. Success is not something that comes overnight, but the result of a long, unceasing process. Life is not always easy, but with discipline and patience, you'll be able to build a solid foundation. And when that happens, the success you achieve will not come from luck or chance, but from persistence and consistency in the simplest things. In the journey of life, we often meet and build relationships. Some of these bring us joy, support, and love, but not all relationships are like that. There are people, whether they are close friends or family, who bring negative emotions, making us feel drained and lose ourselves. You've probably had moments with someone, even someone very close, when you felt lonely and hurt. Your body may be present, but your mind and emotions seem to be leaving, detached from what is happening around you. This is a clear sign that the relationship is no longer healthy and may be negatively affecting your growth and mental well-being. Stoicism, the philosophy we've been discussing throughout this journey, teaches us an important lesson: to know when to let go of things that no longer serve your inner peace. Relationships don't always need to be maintained just because we're used to it, they are family, or we've shared too many memories. When these relationships are filled only with pain and brokenness, letting go is not a betrayal, but an act of deep self-love. Have you ever wondered why, despite trying to maintain a relationship, you still feel drained and never quite good enough when you're with someone? The truth is, the person you've invested so much in may no longer provide the support and comfort you deserve. Perhaps they don't respect your presence, making you feel like you must change yourself to meet their expectations, or they might be pulling you into a negative spiral that you can't escape from. Letting go doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean rejecting all connections. Letting go is a way to protect your inner peace. We all have limits, and when someone constantly crosses those limits, you need to stand up and protect yourself. The important thing is to realize that you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove your worth or try to please those who don't recognize you for who you truly are. This letting go is also not about sulking or reacting negatively, but a conscious choice to distance yourself from harmful influences. Remember, peace doesn't come from maintaining toxic relationships, but from the ability to create space for people who truly understand and respect you. When you let go, you also release expectations about others, old relationships, and the things you've endured. You allow yourself to be free, no longer bound by the stories, people, and emotions that no longer align with the person you are now. And when you learn to let go in a delicate and gentle way, you'll feel liberated. You'll realize that you no longer need to chase the acceptance of people who don't truly respect you. In doing so, you'll be able to embrace healthier relationships that help you grow and feel happier. As in Stoic philosophy, letting go is not weakness, but the strength to live true to yourself, unburdened by the past or toxic relationships. Choose a life that is not clouded by unnecessary things, and step into a new space where you can grow and truly live fully. We often tend to search for leaps, big changes that will create success. Everyone desires breakthroughs, those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that will change their life. However, few realize that it is the small, everyday habits that form the most solid foundation for achieving long-term success. Imagine your day, waking up early, working hard, dedicating time to learning and personal growth, and then ending the day with a sense of satisfaction from those small but steady steps. These actions, though simple and unremarkable, are the building blocks that create the foundation for a successful and peaceful life in the future. In Stoic philosophy, discipline and patience are key elements in achieving serenity in life. A small habit every day, like reading for 10 minutes each morning, writing down the day's goals, or simply practicing deep breathing for a few minutes, may not provide immediate results, but when done consistently, they create a powerful and lasting impact in personal development. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt, is an important concept in forming habits. Scientific studies show that when we repeat an action, the neural connections in our brain become stronger, forming a path that makes that action a natural part of our lives. This means that every good habit built gradually will change the structure of our brain, making us more resilient, stable, and proactive in life. When you begin focusing on small habits, you'll realize that success is not a single destination, but an ongoing process. You don't need to wait for a major event or an external push. Instead, you need to build success from steady steps, even if they are the smallest. It's like tending to your garden. Every day, you need to take the time to water, care for, and patiently wait until the plants begin to sprout. A small habit could be recording what you've learned each day, or creating a quiet space to reflect on the past. These habits help you strengthen self-awareness, gain a deeper understanding of yourself and what you truly need. And when you understand where you are, it will be easier to determine the path you want to take and how to achieve it. Remember, success doesn't come from a leap, but from steady and precise steps. It is the small habits we do every day, though they might be overlooked or undervalued, that are the most powerful tools to move us forward. So why not start today? Build a good habit, no matter how small, and see how it changes your life in ways you never expected. In this modern life, we are often caught up in the never-ending rush of society, where everything happens at breakneck speed. We try to keep up with all the changes, listen to opinions from all sides, and meet the ever-growing expectations. But have you ever wondered, amidst all this noise, do you truly hear yourself? Silence, in Stoic philosophy, is not withdrawal or avoidance, but a powerful form of self-awareness. When you take time for yourself, stepping out of the whirlwind of the outside world, you will see yourself in your purest state. This is not an easy process, as it touches on the deep fears within each person. The fear of loneliness, the fear of losing connection with the world, and sometimes the fear of facing unresolved emotions. However, the truth is, loneliness is an essential part of growth. When you spend time alone, unaffected by the words or expectations of others, you can listen to your inner voice, recognize your true values, goals, and passions. These moments of silence will help you reassess life, eliminate distractions, and see a clearer direction. In moments of solitude, your mind becomes clearer, and your decisions are no longer influenced by fleeting emotions or others' opinions. You will learn to distinguish the voices from the outside and the voice within. As Epictetus once taught, we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react. Time spent alone will give you the opportunity to control your responses, helping you avoid being swept away by negative emotions or acting in haste. Loneliness helps you realize that you don't need to follow the crowd to seek acceptance or recognition. You can master yourself without needing validation from others. This is the inner strength that Stoicism emphasizes as the key to living a life that is free, peaceful, and meaningful. By retreating into moments of silence, you will begin to recognize your inner strength. You will no longer feel insecure or anxious about what others think. You will find that only silence can help you see clearly the path you must take. All worries about meeting society's expectations or unreasonable demands from others will gradually fade, and you will become more steadfast and confident than ever before. It is in these moments of silence, when you stop speaking and start listening, that you will discover. Silence is not abandonment, but the rebirth of your true self. It is awakening, where you can see clearly what truly matters in life, and from there, your path will become clearer and stronger, no longer dependent on external factors. Try to create moments of silence in your day, taking a little time to sit alone, reflect, and feel. This is not about escape, but a powerful and positive journey of self-discovery. When you dare to face solitude and harness its strength, you will experience a freedom and strength unlike anything else. We all know that the great things in life do not come from impulsive decisions or unimaginable leaps. True success is built from small, repeated actions every day. Simple habits, which may seem insignificant, are the solid foundation for all the great achievements in life. When you look at successful people, you'll see a clear commonality. They don't do extraordinary things, but they do ordinary things extraordinarily well. They wake up early, write down their goals each day, and take time to read or learn something new. All these actions, although small, form a positive habit loop that they repeat daily, and this is what leads them to success. As Epictetus taught, when you do small things with dedication and persistence, you will create great results. These habits don't need to be overly complex or impressive. Sometimes, a simple act like starting the day with a few minutes of silence to reflect on your goals, or spending a few minutes each night to jot down what you've learned during the day, can help you make progress little by little. Scientific research shows that our brains operate according to habits. When an action is performed repeatedly, the neural connections in the brain are strengthened, and gradually that action becomes part of who we are, without needing much thought. This explains why people with good habits tend to succeed, because they have created an automatic system to achieve their goals. Imagine a day that starts with waking up on time, not because you have to, but because you've built the habit of waking up early, feeling fresh energy and focus from the very first minutes of the day. Or when you spend 10 minutes sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and listening to yourself, you will feel a sense of peace and inner control that not everyone experiences. These simple yet meaningful habits are the key to guiding your life. With every small action, you are investing in yourself, in your mindset, and in personal growth. Don't think that these actions are insignificant. A small habit every day will make a big difference over time. Just like a small seed planted in the ground, although its growth may be slow at first, over time it will bloom into a large, thriving tree. Similarly, positive habits will create stability, strength, and confidence within you. But success from habits doesn't come easily. You must be patient. There will be times when you feel frustrated and wonder if these small actions are enough to change your life. But persistence and determination are the most important factors. Remember, success is not a destination, but a process, the result of the continuous efforts you make every day. From these small habits, you will develop a strong mindset and a solid inner strength that nothing can break. And eventually, you will realize that these habits have created a full, happy, and meaningful life.